Welcome to Castles to Cauldrons, where every journey starts with a little bit of magic.
All right, welcome to episode 11 of Castles to Cauldrons. I'm your host, Jason Davis. We had some great agents that went to the Disney Treasure 2 weeks ago, and we're going to talk about it and get their impressions on it. So, Rachel, why don't you take it for right now?
Today we have Micah, that's always on, and then our guests are Siobhan Atwood and Christy, who joined me and 3 other agents on the Disney Treasure. We were invited by Disney to a preview sailing. We did 3 nights on board the ship, and it was a great honor to be able to experience the ship and to be invited, because there was only a handful of agencies that were actually invited to this preview sailing. We went on December 12th, and then we got off on December 15th. We had 1 sea day and 1 day at Castaway Cay. Denise, the other co-owner, and myself, we got to listen to Juan Compton, who's responsible for directing the Coco dinner show at Plaza de Coco, which is the Coco-inspired theatrical dining experience on the Disney Treasure, along with Anthony Gonzalez, who was the voice of Miguel, and Lee Unkrich, who directed the movie Coco. Fun fact about that, the inspiration for the Coco movie actually came from the Epcot attraction Grand Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Caballeros, which is another reason why it should be rethemed to Coco.
Agree, 100%.
Well, thank y'all for joining us. Christy, can you say a little bit about your history with magical travel and your Disney experience?
Absolutely. I have been with Magical Travel for 7 years now, and am based out of Cheyenne, Wyoming. So get to experience things a little bit differently than some of our East Coast agents. I have a lot of clients that go to Disneyland just because that's a little bit closer for us, and so I try to be an expert on as much as I can out that way. And I guess that's it.
And Siobhan, is there anything new going on with you? We're thankful that you came back.
Thank you again for having me. Nothing's new, just, loved going on the Treasure. It was a great honor to be asked, and I'm really excited to talk about it because I really love the ship. So,
Christy, why don't you talk about the itineraries that the Treasure will be taking?
The Disney Treasure will be departing from Port Canaveral, and they'll be doing 7-night cruises to either the Eastern or Western Caribbean. The Eastern Caribbean will offer ports in Tortola, St. Thomas, and then Castaway Cay, while the Western itinerary will offer ports in Cozumel, Grand Cayman, Jamaica, and then Castaway Cay.
And this is the old fantasy he was doing. So let's go ahead and deep dive into this a little bit, since y'all have all the information and I've never stepped foot on this ship. Neither has Micah. So let's just go start easy with staterooms. Tell us a little bit about the themes for the staterooms, what type of staterooms are offered, anything like that.
So the room categories are the standard across the board for Disney Cruise Line. They have interior staterooms, which don't have a window outside. Then they have ocean view staterooms that will have either a small porthole or a large porthole that you can actually sit in, but just a window to the outside. Or then they have veranda staterooms that will have a balcony that will look out into the ocean. And then they also have concierge rooms. And in that concierge category, there's several different room types. But it's worth mentioning that if you want a king-size bed, then you, on the Treasure and the Wish, then you have to go to the concierge rooms, because the other categories, the standard categories, only have queen-size beds. But Disney Cruise Line knows how to do the staterooms. Especially on the Treasure, there was so much room. There was so much storage space. One of the things that most guests love about a stateroom on Disney Cruise Line is that it's a split bath. So in one room, it will be a commode and a sink. And then in another room, it will be the shower and another sink. So 2 people could essentially be getting ready at the same time, which makes it great for families. Most staterooms can either accommodate 4 people, up to 4 people, or the deluxe family When you get to the ocean view or the veranda category or concierge, can sleep up to 5. And how they do that is there'll be a couch, or what looks like a couch, a sofa in the living area of the room that will fold down to a day bed. And then there's an upper berth that pulls down from the ceiling. So think about bunk beds, how they look when they're set up. That's how they look, and that's the feel to them. And then if you have a fifth sleeper, there'll be another single fold down bed that will be closer to the balcony in the room. So they definitely added more USB charge ports, and something that I always tell my guests, it's a good tip, always bring a European converter, because that way you're able to utilize all of the outlets in the rooms, because some of them are the European plugs to accommodate those guests. And then they have the American outlets as well. But if you bring an adapter, then you can use all the outlets in the room, which is really good.
And then I also brought a, what do you call them?
Like a universal charger that will have like multiple, all you have to do is plug in one unit, and then it will charge, your phone, your watch.
Yeah. Yeah, the one I had holds 3 plugs, and then it also had 2 USB slots in it as well. So so you can charge 5 things out of one outlet. So that's really nice when you have a family or 4 people in the room, and you're working with limited outlets. So having an extra plug is definitely something I would do.
Something that I just wanted to mention about the interior rooms on the Wish and the Wish and the Treasure, they don't have a split bath. So on the Dream and the Fantasy, you can get a split bath if you do a deluxe inside room, but on the Treasure and the Wish, they don't have a split bath.
But we were in a deluxe family room with a private veranda, and we only had a 4th sleeper room. So the cabinet that would have held the wall bed was just a storage closet, essentially, with shelving, which I thought it was great. Me and another agent, Jerry, we shared that. It was perfect for storage. But I mean, we had plenty of room. We had 3 adults in one of those rooms. We had plenty of surface space to get ready. We had plenty of space to move around. And then we also had plenty of storage.
Yeah, I really liked the room and the size of it, and that cubby area was definitely a big game changer.
And you can still put your luggage underneath the bed. So that's something that I really love about Disney Cruise Line's beds. They're lifted. You can just throw all your luggage right underneath.
So on the last episode, Rachel, you mentioned that you had a Aladdin themed room.
Yes, we did.
What are the other themes for the staterooms?
So when you say there's an Aladdin theme, is it just like the picture that's above the bed? Or is there like other things in the room that are also Aladdin themed?
No,
There's smaller pictures as well,
Yeah.
but it's mainly the picture that's above the bed.
Yeah, because I saw for the Encanto rooms, it's like the picture of the casita that's like above the beds, right?
Yeah, right.
It's like in our Aladdin room, we had like the castle over the bed, but then there was like a map of Agrabah over top of the couch and kind of stuff like that. I know some of the other themes I think we had, there's obviously Encanto and Aladdin. I think there's Pocahontas, Finding Nemo, Up,
Oh, yes.
The Lion King. Just depends
Yeah.
on every deck has different themes.
In the concierge, there is one of the rooms that I got to tour had all of the concierge bathrooms in the shower. They have mosaic tiles, and they all make a picture. And the Finding Nemo one is so adorable. It has Nemo and Dory in it. So cute. But the one that is the Lion King themed in the Raja suite, it's breathtaking. It was so beautiful, the detailed work. And that's something that, Disney is known for, their detailed work. But the mosaic in that bathroom was stunning.
The themes are really good. They're not in your face themed. It's very classy themed.
And the carpets are themed. So like each deck had a different carpet.
That's what I loved. I loved the carpeting. Just the jewel tones of when you walk into the ship, you walk into the Grand Hall, and the jewel tones, because it's an Aladdin themed Grand Hall, it was stunning. The carpet was was amazing.
All right, so let's start talking about the ship as a whole then. Starting with
Okay.
the Grand Hall. As you said, it's Aladdin themed, so it's Jasmine Aladdin on the magic carpet is the statue. What I know on Wish, it did a big show at a certain time at night. I don't know what time.
Yeah,
Did
so
the treasure do?
I actually waited to see, they call it the Kiss Goodnight, and I will say that they were having technical difficulties with it, so they did it at 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock so that they could practice it. One night we waited until midnight and it didn't happen because they were having technical difficulties. But then the next night at 10 o'clock, I mean, most of it went off, so you got the general idea of it. Basically, the whole room, the lighting, the mood changes. So during the day, it, is warm colors, creams, orange, and then they play a song and that's Aladdin themed. And then it will, then the whole lighting turns to a dark purple, a deeper purple.
I was just say it was very pretty. Even though there were some technical difficulties, I thought it was very pretty. Just the music and like the different show of the light. I thought it was a cool experience. Quick, but nice.
So how long is the show usually?
Oh, I think it was like a minute.
Just a couple of minutes. Just
Yeah.
right. Not.
And, they made the lobby pretty much the centerpiece for kind of going ons, right? Like character meet and greets like the other ships, but they've kind of zhuzhed it up some more.
Yeah, there's definitely like the Royal Gathering is held there. Any of the larger meet and greets are there, but then also characters are free roaming around the ship a lot too. They have scheduled times that, if you want to meet the Fab Five, or I did see Moana was on the schedule for a meet and greet, and they would be on a certain floor. Sometimes they're, on deck 4, sometimes they're on deck 5, but the main meet and greets are going to be in that grand hall. And they also put on shows because there's a little stage area, and like it was a male female duo that they put on the show of Aladdin, just the two of them. Like I said, because there's that little stage there, so they do like little performances there as well.
And one thing to note with the character meet and greets is, particularly with like the Fab Five, if you see Minnie and Mickey on day 1, they're going to be Captain Minnie and Mickey. But if you see them on day 3 and it's Pirate Night, they're going to be in their pirate outfits. And so, they're always changing a little bit. So, if there's something specific that you're hoping for or wanting to get, you're definitely going to want to seek them out more than once.
Christy was like the character guru. She got character pictures with so many of them.
I did. And it's fun, but it's great to showcase and see, but like with the pirate outfits, like Mickey or Minnie and Daisy were in their pirate outfits at night. And, we had Captain Mickey and Minnie, and even specialty characters like Peter Pan came out, and Aladdin as Prince Ali. So it's some of its characters that you don't typically see all the time on a ship. And then Moana was obviously out quite a bit.
Let's go to restaurants. Most of the restaurants are about the same from the Wish to the Treasure, correct?
Yes.
1923 is on both of them. World of Marvel is on both of them. The only thing that's different is that on the Treasure it is Coco themed, but on the Wish it is Frozen themed. So it's still a dinner theater show, but it's just 2 different themings. And World of Marvel is a different show as well.
And y'all got to experience the Coco, but not World of Marvels, what y'all were saying earlier. Can you tell us about the show? And
Plaza de Coco is a Coco-inspired dining experience, but it serves Mexican food. We had Miguel would come up and he would do singing. Then you had the dancer, beautiful, big dress, dresses all up in the air. And then you had, was it the grandparents? The great grandparents.
Yes.
Hector and Mama Imelda. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They were doing a little bit of a show as well with singing. So they went around, in between the tables. They came out about 3 different times. They don't sing and dance the entire time that you're dining. They had about 3 segments worth of it, so it was nice.
And because this is a 7-night sailing, when guests are on it for 7 nights, they will dine there twice. So I did inquire about what would the show be, or what would the theming be on the second night or the first night that they were there. So what we saw was actually would be night 2. The first would be when Miguel was a child, and then growing, as he grew up, and then so that would be first night, and then the second night that you would dine there would be him older and singing the song "Remember Me." And
but to go with the Plaza de Coco, the theming, the atmosphere, beautiful.
Because they have the ofrenda, right? Like the ofrenda from the movie.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yes.
Like to every detail. You walk down a long hallway. The hallway is decorated in, Coco theming. And then you get to like the main entrance of the restaurant. And there is the ofrenda. It's probably, I don't know, 10 feet long. Like it's a beautiful, big presence. So and then like the lighting in there, like the mood, just the theming, the atmosphere was.
Well, it's a Mexican food is the primary food. They do have options in addition, like they typically do at the other restaurants, where you can get a sirloin steak or a chicken breast or salmon, so that if someone is not as keen on Mexican food, there's still options for them to dine on.
Is it like an authentic Mexican food, or is it like an Americanized Mexican food?
I would say Americanized, so that way it serves the masses.
Okay.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I like either.
My empanada was good.
They served chips and salsa when you sat down, which was great. And one of the appetizers was guacamole, and I got that. It was very good.
Do they have cheese?
Yeah. Cheese dip. No.
Okay.
No, they don't have queso. No
queso.
I know. That's what I said. Oh, I could go for some queso now.
I guess I'm not going to that restaurant because Bethany.
I guess not.
She drinks it by the jug.
That's it. That's it. Not
I can
going
eat
there.
it. Bethany just won't.
All right, pack some queso. That'll be in your carry-on.
Instead of the alcohol carry-on, I have queso.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, good to know. I'm glad I asked that one.
You go in there thinking, you're like, can I get a thing of queso or cheese dip? And like, we don't have that. And you're like, what?
Frozen or Coco, which one do you think is better when it comes to this restaurant? Not the movies, but the restaurant on the ships.
I personally liked the Frozen show more, but I liked the Plaza de Coco atmosphere more.
Food, which one do you think was better?
I'm not a huge Mexican person, so I would say Frozen. Or Arendelle is the real name of the restaurant.
I just can't decide. I really can't decide. I'm not very good at making
because they're so
decisions like
different.
that.
Like it's hard to compare the two because they're so different.
Right. And I mean, I'll say this on the side. I think your seat makes it, right? When the 2 times that I've been to Arendelle's, our table was right next to the stage, right? We had excellent seats. And this, we were tucked away in the corner, and I had a big pole in front of me. So did I even pay attention to the show? No. And I'm a crier. I cry at everything. And one of my other travel agent friends that was on, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna cry when you go to Plaza de Coco." I didn't cry because I wasn't invested in that show because I was very far away. So yeah. I think that. So if you had to ask me, I would say I liked Arendelle better because I liked the show and I relate to it more. Coco, I've seen the movie. I like the movie. It's just that I love the songs in Frozen. Not that I don't love Remember Me, which I do, but I just relate more to Frozen. So I like Arendelle more.
Christy, do you have an opinion?
I will agree with what Siobhan said, though. I didn't feel very connected to the show because of where we were at. I mean, we were just far enough away. You couldn't see everything that was happening. It really does make a difference where you're at. But from a theming perspective, I absolutely love the look of Plaza de Coco. I love the feel of it. It's very inviting. I mean, the show just was hard to see.
1923. Siobhan, what were you going to say about that?
Lots of different artifacts in there, lots of pictures of Walt, Roy, all different Disney memorabilia that's in there. The restaurant is split into two different sides, the Roy Disney side and the Walt Disney side. I would say it's comparable to, their nicer restaurant, the quote unquote fancier of the restaurants, just because of the theming. It's 1920s themed. A lot of people will play to the role and dress up in flapper apparel, or they tend to dress nicer when they go there. I, wore a silver, gold dress to fit the part. But we had a good meal there. It was. They have lobster on their menu for one of the nights.
Well, they have
on the
lobster.
7
Yeah,
nights,
I was gonna say it was the because you'll sit there twice, so lobster was on the menu. That was nice.
So it's one of the restaurants in the rotational dining, like Plaza de Coco, World of
It is.
Marvel, and 1923 are the three that are in the rotation of the dining.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you just go on the app and you see if you're on the Roy Disney side or the Walt Disney side. We were in the Walt Disney side, but they're just mirrored restaurants. And then there is the World of Marvel, which we did not experience this ship because we decided to do Palo Steakhouse instead. Siobhan and I were at World of Marvel on the Disney Wish. It's pretty much the same thing, except there's going to be the Celebration of Heroes, the Groot remix. That's going to be exclusive to the Disney Treasure. And there's going to be on-screen trivia and some more activities than what they have on the Wish. And then, of course, there's surprise appearances by some characters while you dine.
The quick service stuff like Marceline Market, that's the same back and on both ships, correct?
Yes.
And then
Same.
the Festival of Foods is the pool deck food. So it's all basically the same food. Cove Cafes on
Yes.
every ship. Am I right on that? Saying that?
Yep.
That's the adults only coffee, and then their sweet
Yes.
shop is Jumbo. Let's move on to some fun stuff. This is where it's going to be fun for me because I'm jealous of all of these really, but not the Scat Cat Lounge. So bars and lounges. We'll start with the boring one, Scat Cat. Tell me a little bit about that. Where it is.
It is themed to the Aristocats, and there was a piano in there. So the night that we had gone in there, there was a pianist in there playing Adele songs. So it was definitely a more laid back vibe. There were a lot of people in there, but it was definitely more laid back.
I love
didn't
that they're
stay
giving
there very long.
Aristocats some love. Like Aristocats don't get love very much, and that they're actually getting
right.
something.
Yeah, I liked it too. I do like that.
So it has more of a jazz feel, I guess.
Yes, I would say that.
Yeah. And then in the app, you saw what the piano theme was for the night. So like the next night was Coldplay.
I didn't think they had as good as specialty drinks as some of the other lounges.
Well, they did have one specialty drink. I'm sorry, the name is escaping me, but I think it was like $140.
Yeah, it's just a bar that like you go in for a drink and like I wouldn't spend my evening there. Like we got a drink there and then we left because we
went to match your matey.
yes, that's right.
So would this be is this like a lobby bar type thing, like around the atrium?
Yeah,
Something like that?
it is actually on deck 4 and the main bar opens up to the atrium. It's like I looked at it. It's like a circle bar. So like the one part is outside facing the atrium and then the other side is inside the actual lounge, but it's like connected.
So literally you could be walking to your dinner and grab a drink on the way type thing.
Yeah. It is an easy accessible bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say from an experience perspective, it was probably the lowest experience of all the other lounges.
I could see that.
It had theming, but it wasn't very strong theming. It just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't really
Like if
vibe.
you didn't know what you were looking for with Aristocats, you might not know it was Aristocat themed.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go to Sarabi.
We were in that every night.
Yeah, Sarabi is like where all of the adult activities would happen. So it's a 2-floor, there's a stage in the center. it would take the place of like the tube on the fantasy. That's where all of the adult activities were held. You know, Match Your Mate was there. They did a couple of different shows. Trivia was also there some nights. We went to 80s trivia. I think if they're anticipating a very large crowd for trivia, that's where they have it, is at Sarabi's.
Okay, so this is more of a mixed space type thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that that's a lounge. I mean, they had servers coming around taking your drink orders, but it's not like a closed in lounge area.
Was it more in your face, like theming for the Lion King? Like you walk in and go like,
Oh,
hey, yeah,
no.
this is the Lion
Nope.
King. No.
I
But they
had
did-
no idea it was the Lion King.
They had their drink, their specialty drinks were somewhat tailored to that because, like, I think I had like a Savannah Sunset or something like that. So it seemed like some of their specialty drinks were maybe a little bit more tailored around it, but the feel inside wasn't very Lion King-ish.
I think they should have had a drink called like Remember Who You Are and make it so potent that like you knocks you out. That'd be
You
great.
forget.
Yeah, it's like
And I really wish that I could remember the name of the show that was on the first night. It was people acting out the Indiana Jones. And it was really, really cool. We were just so exhausted though that we ended up leaving halfway through. But it was like you picked what would happen. And I can't
Yeah, it was like
remember
the
name of
Indiana
show.
Jones adventure.
Oh, it says
Yeah.
Choose Wisely, an Indiana Jones
Wisely.
comedy adventure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was.
that sounds interesting. Kind of like the
Yeah, so
choose your own ending type books type thing.
right.
The last one that I'm not so interested in would be the Rose that's outside of Palo. I kind of figure this one feels probably like Enchanted Rose and Grand Floridian. Would I be mistaken on that?
It's more, I think that it takes the place of Meridian on the Dream and the Fantasy. That's the bar that is in between Palo and Remy. So this is on the way into Palo and Ashante, but it like they definitely had more champagne there. I think that if you're looking for a really nice glass of champagne or a really nice glass of wine, that's where you would go, is to the Rose.
Is it heavily themed as well, or is it just kind of?
No, but really something that we found out when we dined at Palo, the Rose, when you're walking into it it's the same entrance on the Wish, and the Rose is Beauty and the Beast themed, of course, and on the table is under the glass is a sculpture of the Rose. It's like a bronze sculpture. And the 3 different Wish class are going to have the 3 different stages of the Rose. So on the Wish, it is a fully bloomed rose that has no petals that have fallen. But on the Treasure, it is mid-cycle, so there are rose petals that have fallen off on the ground. And then when the Destiny comes out, that will be I don't know what it's going to look like because we don't know yet, but I assume that more petals will be on the ground. So I found that like fascinating, and I can't wait to see what it looks like now.
The amazing attention to detail that they're doing with that, to have those 3 classes of ship and the 3 stages of like the Rose is just
I
amazing.
know. I
Yeah.
thought that was really, really cool.
No, but the bar is very just elegantly themed. Like you want to be dressed up when you go in there. Like I wouldn't go there in like jeans, like sweats
My
or
leggings.
suits.
It
Yeah,
makes sense for it to be right outside Palo. Like you can get a drink or something before you're going in for your dinner in there and stuff. And you want
Yes.
to just be more dressed up, more. I mean, most of these things, bars and stuff, are adults only, but like definitely more elevated than some of the other ones.
it definitely is. Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the more interesting ones, or one interesting to me. I'll say the best for last. So let's go to the Periscope Pub, which is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, submarine voyage themed bar.
Yeah.
What did y'all think about that?
So I was really excited to go there. But and it was really cool because like above you it's like you're underwater. You can see the water above you and all different screens. The night that we went there on Thursday nights, and it's good to know that that's where they played. It was Thursday night football was on the TVs there. So if anybody's looking for a pub atmosphere to watch some football games, that's where they would go on the ship. So
Like a sports bar.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what was going on when we were in there, and we wanted to go back there, but they actually closed at 10 o'clock, which I felt was kind of early. So we never went back and got like the full experience, but you could kind of see it. I loved the theming in there of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I loved all of the nautical
Yes.
accents that were throughout the pub, but we didn't actually see any, if there was something else that truly goes on there.
So out of our next three that we're going to talk about with this one, this is where we're getting into more of the stronger theming, right? Like this one was definitely more in your face theming. I did see some stuff like online, like pictures and stuff. And I only feel like the thing that might take away from the theming there isn't there windows to outside. So you actually can see outside there. Isn't like where you can actually see versus like just the stuff overhead.
I don't remember seeing windows.
I think it's in the middle of the ship. I
Yes,
don't recall
yeah.
windows either.
No, I think that there is, but
Behind the
it was
bar?
dark.
Where would it
It
have
was
been?
dark. It would have been like, because how I was facing. It would
Oh,
have
maybe
been
behind me.
Right.
That's probably why I didn't see it either.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't remember seeing windows, but
Well, clearly not enough to throw the theming off that much. Because I know just like a video I saw online, I was like, oh, it's supposed to be in a submarine, but yet there was like windows where you could see outside. And I was like, I just felt like if I was in there, I was like, that might take away a little bit of the theme of being in a submarine.
maybe if you were there in the daylight. I mean, we were there at night too, so it probably blended a bit more too.
Yeah.
We didn't notice it as much, but yeah, I do think it is the sports bar theme. Like Siobhan said, they had football. I know Saturday night when they had the Heisman announcement, they were playing that in there. So it seemed like whenever there was sports and stuff, that's where people were going. So it's hard to know when they're doing anything else, because if they're playing sports a lot, maybe that's what it is all the time.
Specialty drinks. I know y'all said y'all didn't spend much time or get full experience. Do you know what type of drinks there were in there? Did they sell a Nautilus type drink like they do at Traders?
They did. They definitely had three specialty drinks for that particular lounge. And I do have pictures. That's so funny. So they have the Narwhal, the Otis Daiquiri, and the Diver. And all of those are come with a specialty glass. Nope, I take that back. No, they don't. But I didn't get any of them. One of them was made with Kraken, and I probably should have had that because the Narwhal is made with Kraken. And then they had a bunch of different beers in there as well.
And it's a full bar, so I had a Moscow Mule, and that was probably one of my better drinks of the trip. And then they give you the edible straws, so that's fun. Yes. So all of the bars and lounges, if you like, you'll get an edible straw.
I've never had an edible straw.
What is the flavor of the edible straw?
So the one night was lime.
They come in all different flavors. Yeah.
We had lime and tropical.
Like a pina colada, tropical fruit, all different flavors.
Can they bring those to Disney World instead of those terrible paper straws that start to get floppy so fast?
Oh, Siobhan, you should tell them what I had in my belt bag.
She had a whole stash of regular plastic straws.
When we go to Disney, I take my own silicone straws that I keep in a little Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
Skipper Society is the next really themed one, and the three really themed bars are attraction based. So that's really cool to me, is that they went that way.
I love Skipper Society because I have a fondness of Jungle Cruise. So I liked all the theming that was there. The Skipper Society really seems to have taken the place of the D Lounge. So there was a lot of family activities that were there during the day. Some of the drawing activities were there.
I would say Skipper Society, I mean, it's the biggest of the three themed bars, and it's more open. And so they did have like trivia, and they had things going on where there was people you could sit, but then people could stand around too. I mean, there was a lot more space to do things in there, and they would have a variety of things with entertainment on the stage while we were there. But we did think that the specialty drinks were a little bit weaker there. We weren't as impressed with those.
Did they bring the humor from the Jungle Cruise into this bar?
I didn't interact with any servers, so I can't speak for that, but I don't believe so, no.
I feel like that's a miss. Like they could have like the bartenders telling really corny dad jokes or doing stuff with the drinks and stuff like that.
And they may have, but I didn't interact with anybody behind the bar. We sat there and there's two booths that are round booths, and the chandeliers are parrot stained glass. So I wanted to take a picture with those, but I didn't interact with any servers. So they could, but I just didn't interact with anybody.
So on my research of looking at stuff, this has my favorite Easter egg on the whole ship so far, and that's the Albert Falls Disney postcard that Walt writes to Albert.
I feel like I didn't really care for this bar. Like I didn't like the menu.
Yeah,
like,
we weren't
just
because we sat down and we looked at the menu and we were like, nah, let's go.
And no one was there. That was the thing. No one was there.
Nobody was there.
It was a happening place when there were events going on, but if there wasn't something specific happening, it was pretty dead.
That's disappointing to me.
But you know where everybody was, though?
The next one that I'm so excited about. Like this one just looks cool.
Haunted Mansion Parlor is
loved it.
That's I think that's everybody. Like when it was announced, that pretty much took over social media. No one cared about the theme of the cruise ship itself. No one cared about the itinerary. They just wanted to know how to get into the Haunted Mansion Parlor and how big it was and how themed it was. So did it exceed expectations? Was it disappointing or what?
Yeah, it exceeded my expectations. I definitely tried to not pay attention to any of the spoilers that were out there because I wanted to go in blindly. They have a sign outside, so you have a 45-minute time limit. And I have to say that the servers that came around to take your drinks, they were very attentive, because they know that if you wanted to try something else, they wanted to be able to get you out of there. But it was, you first walk in and it's the famous Haunted Mansion wallpaper, all photos on the wall that actually ooze or move, which I think was really cool. The chandeliers have all, cobwebs on them. Behind the bar is a mirror, and you will see all different sorts of characters in that mirror. Even Madame Leota makes an appearance every once in a while, which it was just really, really cool. My favorite that I didn't actually buy because I had no room in my luggage. I really wanted to purchase the Hatbox Sipper, the Hatbox Sipper. It comes with a soda that's bottled soda, and it's a Haunted Mansion brand, which is really cool. And when you buy that sipper, you get a death certificate with it. And I thought that was really cool.
That's so fun.
So all of the menus at the bars, I'm sorry, not all of them, but at Haunted Mansion Parlor, there was the menu was on an iPad, and there is a secret menu that you have to solve a riddle, and then you can see a secret menu. But we all got the same drink, and it was 10 out of 10. It was called Happily Never After, and it was so good, and I wish I could have another one right now, and I loved the glass that it came in as well.
It was like a goblet.
Yeah.
It was fun. I would go there. We should have walked out and came back in.
I was going to say, can you leave and then get back in line to kind of queue back up again to get back in?
There wasn't a line for us.
But we also weren't on a fully packed ship.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, just seeing pictures and videos online and even what you, Siobhan, have posted and pictures and stuff, it looks so fun. Like it's somewhere where I feel like you would want to go over and over again to make sure. Because don't they have like you said, like the mirror behind the bar has stuff that happens in the pictures and stuff. And do the light, like I think like what the lights go dim and they almost have like a little show type things. Like you just want to experience all that. Like it just looks really exciting. Like that you would really want to do that. And that they really brought the attraction Haunted Mansion into that on the cruise ship. It's just
There was a talking
genius.
head. The talking head, like the statue, was in the corner.
Oh,
so that
that's
was
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we went back another time. Like that's definitely 45 minutes in there is not enough time. So 7 nights, I would say, at least go in twice.
Well, and like Siobhan said, they did a really good job of serving you quickly and they were on top of it. I mean, they were moving people through pretty efficiently to make sure everybody got an opportunity to experience it.
And this on the Wish is the Star Wars.
Hyperspace.
Yeah, Hyperspace Lounge. Yep.
Okay. Do they have any like super expensive drink like they did at Hyperspace?
I think that one is at the Scat Cat Lounge, but the drink that's on the secret menu is actually for 2 people, so it was a little bit more expensive. That's the drink on the specialty on the secret menu it serves 2 because it's multiple. It's like a candelabra that has a couple of different drinks on it.
Oh, God, you scared me.
So the secret drink is the spirits have been released. It's $30 an experience for 2.
That looks really cool though.
It's less expensive than I thought it was going to be for something like that on a secret
Yeah,
menu.
I don't think you're going to get to keep that for that price.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, it says it right here. Gargoyle and glasses not included, but it's 2 separate drinks. St. George gin, screaming soda, blackberry and blueberry, and then 5 trail blend whiskey, sour shivers, lemonade, and orange. That sounds fun. What little Easter eggs did y'all notice while in the Haunted Mansion bar?
There is a one of the mirror. There's a mirror when you enter into like the queue area. And does she have a name? She has a name, I'm sure, and I should know it. But you know,
Bride.
when at the end of the attraction,
She
when
doesn't.
the bride ghost is there.
She doesn't technically have a name. Like she's like
Okay.
Prince Adam with Beauty and the Beast. He doesn't have a real name, but people have given him a name. Her name is Constance Hatchaway, is what they have given her, the fans.
Okay. Well, she appears in a mirror there and says, "Hurry back." So if you're standing there and you're not expecting it, you know, she definitely gives you a little bit of a fright.
So they kind of pull that from the ride when you're leaving, that whole hurry back thing. That's exciting.
Right.
I mean, I
Right.
just really like everything about the Disney Treasure is exciting to me. Because like I'm a huge, growing up, Aladdin was my favorite movie. Princess Jasmine was my favorite princess. And just everything about, like, I love Marvel. And then Haunted Mansion's one of my favorite rides. Like, it's just really exciting. And it's one of the ships I really want to get on. And I hope to be able to do that in the future, to get on there and experience everything, because it's just the one I've been the most excited for that they've like announced and the things that have happened or like that they did on the ship.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was great, and I really hope that you get to go on it. And I really have been trying to think about it, because I will tell you that the Wish isn't my favorite ship, but I loved the Treasure. I loved it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because of the different jewel tones in the carpeting, the different themes of the bars that I really can relate to. But something that we haven't talked about yet, Tales of Moana will blow everybody away.
And
It
Moana is one of my favorite movies. So that's something also
Right.
I'm so
Me
excited
too.
about.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Go ahead and tell us about Tales of Moana.
So Tales of Moana is their featured show, Broadway style show. When I tell you that I was bawling my eyes out, I cried throughout it, because the actors that are portraying the characters are just amazing. And I hate saying that word amazing, but they truly were. We even looked up the grandmother at the end, because she was so realistic to the movie. She played an amazing part. Moana herself, wow, what a voice. What a voice. And you just really felt like you were watching that movie in front of you. The staging, amazing. And it was also a little bit different. And I'm hoping that they do this for everybody. You know how when you go to a show on a cruise ship, the cruise director comes out and he talks to you and tells you, what's going on that day or the next day. Well, that didn't happen for Tales of Moana. What happened is that different characters that were going to be appearing in the show came out and were just like they were in like a village in Montanui. Like they were out and about and they were interacting with people that were sitting in the front. And then all of a sudden, one female came out and she blew a shell, and that's when the whole show started. And
I feel like that would give you chills. Like she comes out and blows the conch shell and you hear that.
Right. And, then they just, it's all the different sceneries. But the end is just breathtaking. How they created that on a ship stage. When Te is Taka, it is lifelike. And actually it's a warning. I would definitely warn guests with smaller children that they may be frightened because it is so real and lifelike. But then when she turns into Te, it's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful.
It's like seamless.
Right.
Seamless.
But then even small things, how are they going to get Maui's tattoos to dance? Well, they used screens where they superimposed. They had actors dressed in all black, and they had huge screens up and they would shine a light on a particular part of Maui, and behind him were his tattoos dancing and moving. I just can't say enough about this show, and I just truly wish that they gave us a 3-minute clip of a scene from that show so that we could market it to people, because it was breathtaking. It was amazing. And my Facebook post or my social media post, because we had second dining, so we saw the first show. I said, I almost don't want to go to dinner because I want to go back and see the show again. That's how amazing it was.
The grandmother turning into the Ray. I mean, it was just incredible.
Stunning. I loved it. I can't wait to see it again. And I'm going back on the Treasure because I want to go see that show again.
And then the same cast is also in the Beauty and the Beast.
And the Beauty and the Beast, that one is that's on another ship too, correct?
It's on the Disney Dream, but it's a different show than what you see on the Disney Dream. The Disney Dream Beauty and the Beast is a little more focused on the animated version, whereas the Beauty and the Beast on the Treasure is more focused on the live action version of the movie.
So which one do you like better?
I really liked the one on the Treasure. I'm not going to lie. And I'm a huge Beauty and the Beast fan in general. And maybe it's just because you don't see as much done with some of the songs from the live action movie that they brought into there. But I really loved them incorporating that into there.
I think it kind of makes it a little bit more believable too, that you have actual looking furniture pieces and whatnot in the live action versus the animated, trying to make them look so animated.
Right. Well, and part of it could be like Siobhan talked about. I mean, the cast of Moana was just stellar. And you've got this same cast doing Beauty and the Beast. And so part of it could be just the cast. I mean, they were so good.
I'm sorry, the Gaston.
Yes.
How could you, I've been on cruise ships before, and it's a hard sell, right? For actors to go and stay on a cruise ship and live on a cruise ship. And, they may look a little like him, but I'm telling you, Gaston was tall, dark, and handsome, and his voice was amazing. It was so good. He was really good. Definitely made that show.
And then like Lumiere, like the actor that did his voice,
yes.
I could have closed my eyes and thought I was watching the movie. Like the accent was just on point.
Right. I agree.
You guys are making me want to convince my husband tonight that we need to book a cruise on the
Just
Treasure.
based on
You
that
do.
show.
Literally just based on
Absolutely.
Moana.
No,
Literally just
absolutely.
based on what's the show called?
Tales of
Moana.
Moana.
Tales of Moana. Moana's already literally like in my top 3. So I just
Yeah.
really want to watch it.
So we went to Tales of Moana. And then the next day, I watched Moana 2 in Neverland Cinema on the ship. And I was disappointed in the movie, but I actually thought it was because Tales of Moana was so good that I couldn't get past that. And so I was trying to figure out, I was like, was it a bad movie or was it just because I had such a great experience here?
Recreation when it comes to the other stuff. I'm curious about the pool setup. Wish had like the multiple pools. Is that the same thing on the Treasure?
Yes. It was a little bit cool. So people were swimming, but none of us adults could. Same pool in the adult area, that's on the aft. That is like an infinity pool off of the back of the ship. But yep, many different pools on the main pool deck.
And the Aquamouse is the attraction at sea. Y'all just said none of y'all swam. Did any of y'all get to go on this?
No.
Okay.
They were because it was also windy, you had to have 2 people in order to go on it. And it was too cold. It was too cold for all of us. So none of us went on this Aquamouse.
The Hero Zone, that's going to be the same thing that they have in the Incredibles on Wish, correct? The big inflatable thing.
Yes. Yep. And, I was recently talking to a client of mine that sailed on the Wish first, and then in November, a couple of years ago, and this year she ended up going on the Fantasy because I had told her how much I love the Fantasy. And when she got back, we had a debriefing conversation because she booked a placeholder and she was talking about what she's going to do with that placeholder. And I said, how did you like the Fantasy? And, how did the kids like the kids clubs and how did they compare? And she said, well, the one thing that we missed was the Hero Zone, something that I never even thought of. In a cooler weather, the Hero Zone is indoors. So it was cold outside. The basketball courts, everything like that on the Dream and the Fantasy, they're outdoors, but they're indoors in the Hero Zone. So they were able to go into there even if it was bad weather, which is a really nice feature to have, that they're indoors if it's bad weather out.
Kids and teen club, those all pretty much translate over the same way, correct?
Yep, same ages, same.
What's the ranking for this one on your ships? Like, would this be toward the top, toward the bottom?
It's definitely toward the top, if not the top, just because I think, one, the theming of it is just beautiful. I can relate to the theming. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love Moana.
The shows are just top quality.
And I also think the fact that it's new. Like, we were probably the 3rd sailing on that had people on it. And just, it's so new. It smelled new.
These new ships like Wish and Treasure and Destiny coming out soon. Do you think it hurts the legacy ships of Magic and Wonder?
I don't think so, because they're going to offer different itineraries. So I don't think it'll hurt.
Or like talking about Siobhan's client, would it be harder to sell somebody if they did the Treasure first to go on to a Magic cruise on the Magic next?
I think that you always fall in love with your first ship. People that have been sailing Disney Cruise Line for a long time, if you ask them what's your favorite ship, it tends to always be the Magic, because the Magic was their first ship that they went on. To me, I liked the Magic because it's smaller, but the Fantasy is still my favorite ship. I love the Fantasy. I love the Treasure. Don't get me wrong. I love the Treasure, and I look forward to sailing her again. But it still doesn't take my top spot of the Fantasy for me. It's just because I know the Fantasy like the back of my hand. And I think that that's the same for a lot of people. They like that first ship that they went on.
What do you think they could improve to make this ship better?
The number one complaint that people make is that there's no full promenade deck. There's no, you can't go up to go out on deck 5 and walk the perimeter of the ship like you can on the other Disney Cruise Line classes. It's cut off. My other complaint about this class of ship is that the adult area is very small. So unless you're there extremely early, there's limited seating for that. A tip that I always tell my clients, if I know that they're adult only, or if they're looking for adult only time, there is a pool that is at the front of the ship, the Chip and Dale pool, and it's like Satellite Falls on the Dream and the Fantasy. They have a little pool there. There's ample seating. There's even covered seating. And oftentimes, even though that kids can go there, you can't see the funnel vision from there. So kids come and they're bored and they leave. So oftentimes there are just adults that are there enjoying the time. It's also closer to the concierge lounge. Even though concierge lounge has their own sun deck, this has a bigger area, a bigger pool. So a lot of concierge people will stay there, will come out there as well.
The 2 elevator banks, that's just something that I don't really like because, depending on where you are, you have to walk so much further to get to an elevator from your stateroom. But I do have to say they did have, what would they have, 8 elevators per bank?
Yeah, I think right, 4 on each side.
Yeah, there was it's a good amount of elevators. I just wish so I didn't have to walk as far. There was a 3rd elevator bank.
That's going to do it for our conversation on the treasure. Christy, why don't you tell us where people can get in contact with you if they want to book a Disney Cruise Line or any type of Disney vacation, any other family vacation?
Yep. So I am on Facebook. It's Christy Puev at Magical Travel, or you can email me. It's just Christy@magicaltravel.com, and it's Christy, Christy. I know there's a lot of different ways to spell that, and Puev is maybe not the most common last name, so it's Puev. I do have an Instagram. It's just Christy with Magical Travel.
And Siobhan, can you tell us where they can reach you if they would like to book a Disney treasure or family vacation?
Yes. Easiest is going to be either Instagram or TikTok because I have both the same username, is See Ya Real Soon, just like Mickey. SeeyaRealSoon, See Ya Real Soon. Or my Facebook is Siobhan Atwood with Magical Travel, and Siobhan is spelled Siobhan with Magical Travel. And my email is satwood@magicaltravel.com.
And we'll have their emails linked in the show notes. So if you didn't get a chance to write those down, you'll be able to get those. That's going to do it for us today. If you want to get a hold of any of us, any type of booking, you can go to www.magicaltravel.com. This will be our last show for the year. So happy holidays, and we will see you at the beginning of the year.